All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Let me get right into this one. So, let me start out by saying this. DPP, Paula Llewellyn. Ever since the Kentucky Kid and the X6 cases, I lost all trust in the DPP, Paula Llewellyn. Kartel's phone was taken in as evidence. Then it was removed from the evidence room by a cop, a police, taken out of the facility. The cop himself admitted to this, saying that he only made one personal call and then he returned the phone to the evidence room another day. Then, this is what you call tampered evidence. Okay? Without even getting into the details of what was on that phone. And this is an update for those of you who weren't following this case closely and are not understanding what this whole phone thing comes down to. Now remember, it is the constitutional right of the accused to be presented with whatever evidence is going to be used against them at trial. Their constitutional right. They are supposed to get this evidence so that they and their legal team can inspect it for validity and relevance, and then they can know what is being used against them, and in this manner, they can mount a proper defense to prove their innocence. That is the constitutional right of the individual. Now, to understand what's going on with this phone, you have to go back in time. Okay? Now, remember, this trial has been going on for a while now. So pay attention, I'm going to walk you through this slowly. A lot of people have been saying, SouFLo, how come you're not covering the Vybz Kartel thing and you're not keeping us up to date? What's going on? What's the latest? Because we have a free Vybz Kartel. I recently got a message actually from someone in California that's actually pretty big on YouTube, not YouTube, on Instagram now. But is a person that deals with legal marijuana. But she is so entrenched in this whole cartel thing, and she is such a big Vybz Kartel fan. She's always linking me, SouFLo, what's next, what's next? So I hope that her and others like her are paying attention to this particular video. Okay? So the whole message that was on Vybz Kartel's phone, the text message, which read, between me and you, this is a text message, and this is what the text message read. It said, between me and you, a chop will chop up the boy lizard fine and dash him away. No? As long as we alive, them can never find him. This is according to the prosecution, said that this should be construed as an admission of guilt. And therefore, it is the phone and this message that were a huge part in getting Vybz Kartel, Sean Storm, and the others their sentences. You understand? Now check this out. Vybz Kartel, along with fellow entertainer Sean Storm, as well as Kyra Jones and Andre St. John, they were seeking to overturn their guilty verdicts and their life sentences and hopefully walk free. A lot of people are saying this should have never been admitted into court at all because the evidence was tampered with. Now people are saying the evidence is tampered with, so what? It still didn't change what was on the phone. Well, it could have. And that is where the problem lies. Okay? It could have. Now, you must understand this.
There you have it. Right out of BLF TV kitchen. My ribs. Right there. And as you notice, it's fall now, so we have a little fall setting if you notice in the background. Look at those pickles. And this gives a nice, very nice flavor. Right? And remember, we're making the Jamaica coconut cake. I love you.
Hot girl, you want me swirl. You take care of your pink pearl. Hot girl, you want me swirl. What am I say? I just show me up the thing where every man a dream of. Die, 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 boy. BLFTB just a sweet me, boy. Boy, them just a sweet me. Die, die. Dip down over the pumpkiness at first. See?
Drinking rum and Red Bull, and you see make me heart full. Them want me get half full like them want BLF get. Hey, me start the day with the flask cranberry with ice in a glass. Satellite can't find me, me last. Baby wanna lick a BLF at the boss. Yeah, what? For credit, I should make $1,600 worth of credit. Tell them.
You must understand that there were dates that were floating around. As Kartel's lawyer had said at appeal, July 6th date that was put forward by police experts as the date when the file holding the text message was created, July 6th. September 30th, August 23rd, and October 10th were also mentioned as other dates on which the same message was created. Now, I'm no expert, but there's no way that a file can be stamped to have been created on July 6th, September 30th, August 23rd, and October 10th. That makes no sense. There were several dates that were floating around. This is what Kartel's lawyer Buchanan said, right? Noting that the prosecution had conceded to the phone being accessed at least 5 times while in police custody. Now remember, the police that actually took the phone from the evidence room, this police admitted to taking the phone from the evidence room. He admitted that it was wrong, but he said that he only made one phone call and then that was it. However, evidence shows that that phone was used at least 5 times, was accessed at least 5 times while in police custody. It is submitted that the 5 times that the phone was accessed by the police would have presented opportunities for someone within the unit to apply the process that is called anti-forensic technique, which amounts to tampering and is therefore illegal. And that software can be used to manipulate the timestamp on the message as admitted by Mr. Linton. And Mr. Linton is a police expert. Wanna follow so far? All right. Now, we know that the evidence was modified while the appellants were in custody, and the evidence is incontrovertible that the evidence was modified while in the possession of the police. In the meantime, he also said that the defense team find it suspicious that only select text messages and videos were pulled from the phone, and they questioned why all of the messages and the videos had not been disclosed to them. This has been disclosed to his legal team. Remember, it is their constitutional right to have whatever so-called evidence is there also in their possession so they can inspect it, so they can mount a defense against it to prove their client's innocence, so on and so forth. Yet still, here we are today talking about his attorneys still trying to gain access to that phone. I find it rather crazy. Because here we are now. And now we're talking about Vybz Kartel's phone again. And according to the most recent news, which was just a few hours ago released and printed in, for instance, you can go to Loop, but I believe the Gleaner and others carries this as well. And that story says that attorney at law Buchanan, Isaac Buchanan, which is Vybz Kartel's attorney, who is now representing Kartel, has accused the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions of being shady and dodgy, as the office has largely frustrated the attempt of the defense to gain access to Exhibit 14C, which is the cell phone which contained the controversial voice notes alleged recorded by Vybz Kartel. The DPP is being very dodgy and shady and very deliberate in their actions to continue to violate the constitutional rights of Adidja Palmer. Now, despite the attempts of myself, this is his attorney speaking, Isaac Buchanan, and he said despite the attempts of himself and the Queen's Counsel, we have been unable to access the cell phone, which we believe has evidence of tampering. Now, the funny thing about this is, at Kartel's trial, even the judge himself admitted that what had been done to the phone amounts to tampering. Even the judge admitted it. And still, that piece of evidence was allowed in to be used by the prosecution against Vybz Kartel and the others. Buchanan voices concerns that the office of the DPP was acting as author of further delay in the matter, seeking to frustrate the defense's bid to gain access to the infamous phone. We have presented our concerns by writing to agents in England, and we hope that this activity will move the Privy Council to force their hand to release the phone so that we can confirm whether it was tampered with or not. Voice notes laced with expletives and death threats, which are believed to be from an accused in the Vybz Kartel murder trial, were leaked to the public years ago after they were played for jurors in the home circuit court. In some of the voice notes, dated August 14, 2011, the sender said that he was informed that his 2 new shoes were missing and that the guilty party would be killed if the shoes were not returned by 8 o'clock that evening. In the meantime, Vybz Kartel and its co-accused continue to wait on leave to be granted so that the case can go before the Privy Council in the UK. After an official application had been filed in June on behalf of the entertainer and his 3 co-convicts to go to Jamaica's highest courts with the matter. The process is going smoothly. We're still waiting on the final leave from the local court of appeals. Now, the thing about that is Kartel has been granted leave, and they are heading to England, to the Privy Council. Right now, as we speak, though, his lawyers are trying to gain access to that phone. That same phone that is constitutionally protected as his right. It is the Constitution that says that it is his constitutional right of the accused to be presented with whatever evidence is going to be used against them by the prosecution at trial. And they are supposed to get this evidence so that they and their legal team can inspect it and they can know what they're up against and they can mount a defense to fight for their client's innocence. However, they still have not been able to access that phone because the DPP continues to delay and continues to withhold that. Ask me again, and I will say it again. That piece of evidence should never have been entered into court as a piece of evidence. Everybody knows that. There's no way that SouFLoTV could, for instance, be caught up in a crime, say here in the US, and a police officer, someone sworn to uphold the law that wears the uniform, that is a part of my arresting, a part of my investigations that they had going on against me. One of these officers could have never gone into an evidence room, unsealed, and taken a piece of evidence, used it for their own personal use, brought it back and re-entered it into the evidence room after they used it, and then present this after admitting guilt, admitting that they took it out, and then present it in court. It would have never went to court. That piece of evidence would have been thrown out. And this is one of the things that I've been saying for the longest is either there is a cook-up going on where they will do every and anything to keep Kartel where he is. But as far as the courts go, this piece of evidence should have been thrown out already. I'm not even arguing all the other things that were said. I remember at one time, when all these pictures came out on the internet. Now, for those of you who followed it closely, I'm sure you remember the pictures. A lot of them were sexual in nature and obviously were personal pictures to Vybz Kartel. It showed these things. They were sex pictures and other pictures, money pictures. I don't remember if there were gun pictures. But I remember saying to myself, why would Vybz Kartel release these types of pictures to the public? And then I said to myself again, well, how could he be releasing these pictures if he is in custody? Well, lo and behold, it came out later that while he was in custody after he was arrested, his phone was in the possession of a police officer who actually admitted to taking the phone and using the phone. And of course, now the argument is the police is saying he only used it once. Lawyers are saying no. Experts have come in and given 5 different dates that the phone was accessed. And these dates are all in a time when Kartel was incarcerated and the phone was in the possession of the police. You see what I'm saying? This is provable. This is factual. And this is without even going into what's in the phone. So of course, the doubt has been created. Without his lawyers even getting the phone, the doubt has been created. The doubt's created in anybody that's thinking. Why would they have moved the phone? Why would this police officer take it upon himself to take the phone from evidence room, carry the phone home with him, use the phone, bring the phone back, and then be allowed to say, well, I only used it once, and I know I was wrong, I'm sorry, and then go about his business. And then that same phone is taken in and admitted into trial as evidence and used against them. Obviously, there was time there for others to alter, to splice, to fix up, to rearrange, and to make things look the way they wanted to look to support their accusations. In other words, then, to seal up a guilty verdict. Me not talk no more. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Sooner or later, this will be before the Privy Council in the UK, and we will know where this all stands, because it's going to come to an end sometime in the near future. Is Vybz Kartel still going to be, is he going to get a new trial date? Or will he be exonerated and they at Privy Council say, hey, that should have never been admitted in as something to be used against him because it was tampered with. Even the judge at his trial admitted that it was tampered with after the police officer who took it and tampered with it admitted that he had done so. So you think he's going to walk free on this? Or are you of the frame of mind that they are definitely out to cook up and to keep him right where he is at, regardless of what evidence comes up? Make we talk. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.